They say the truth has a way of finding you when you least expect it. But I never imagined my 8-year-old would be the one to open the door to my husband's lies. When Ethan claimed he was away on business, something in his eyes told a different story, so I did what any wife would do. I surprised him at his hotel with our kids in tow. What we found behind door 714 wasn't just an affair. It was a betrayal so deep it revealed exactly what his family really thought of me, exactly what he'd been telling her about our marriage, and exactly how little he valued the black woman who'd given him everything. But here's the thing about quiet women. We see everything. We remember everything. And when we finally move, it's with a precision that cuts deeper than any scream ever could. By the time I was done, he'd lost more than just his marriage. He'd lost the only real thing he ever had. If you're watching this, hit subscribe and tell me where you're from, because this story of dignity, revenge, and knowing your worth is just getting started. The coffee maker gurgled to life as I spread peanut butter across Noah's sandwich. 6:15 in the morning, same routine as always. Lily sat at the kitchen counter, braiding her doll's hair with careful fingers. Noah bounced in his chair, already dressed, but with his shirt inside out. "Turn your shirt around, baby," I said, not looking up from the lunchboxes. "But I like the tag in front," he said. "It's like a pocket." "It's not a pocket. It's a tag." Ethan walked into the kitchen, already dressed in his navy suit. He moved differently this morning. Rushed. His tie hung loose around his neck, and he hadn't combed his hair the way he usually did. "Morning," he said, reaching for his coffee mug. "Morning." I glanced at him. "You're up early." "Yeah, about that." He cleared his throat. "I have to go out of town today. Work thing." I stopped spreading jelly. "Today? You didn't mention anything yesterday." "It came up last night, after you went to bed." He avoided my eyes, focusing on adding cream to his coffee. "Big client meeting. Can't reschedule." Lily looked up from her doll. "Where are you going, Daddy?" "Just a few hours away. Nothing too far." "Can we FaceTime tonight?" Noah asked. "Like when you went to Chicago." Ethan paused. "Maybe. Depends on how late the meeting runs." I watched him sip his coffee. In 8 years of marriage, Ethan had never missed a FaceTime call with the kids, even when he was in different time zones, even when he was exhausted. "How long will you be gone?" I asked. "Just tonight. Back tomorrow evening." He kissed the top of Lily's head, then Noah's. "Be good for Mommy." He moved toward me, leaning down for a kiss, his lips pressed against mine a little too hard, a little too long, like he was trying to convince himself of something. "Drive safe," I said. "Always do." He grabbed his briefcase from the counter. "Love you." The words hung in the air after he left. I finished packing the kids' lunches, but my hands moved slower than usual. Something felt wrong. Not wrong like danger wrong. Wrong like a puzzle with missing pieces. Lily slipped down from her chair and came to my side. "Mommy, why did Daddy look scared?" I glanced at her. 8 years old, and she noticed everything. "Scared? I don't think he looked scared, honey." His eyes got all wide when Noah asked about FaceTime. Kids see things adults miss, things adults pretend not to see. I zippered Noah's lunchbox and tried to shake the feeling that had settled in my chest. The morning at work crawled by. I sat at my desk in the main office of Riverside Elementary, answering phone calls and organizing field trip forms. But my mind kept wandering back to breakfast. Ethan always shared his travel details with me. Always. Flight times, hotel names, meeting locations. He'd text me his itinerary before he even left the driveway. It was just how he did things. By lunch, I still hadn't heard from him. I pulled out my phone and called his number. It went straight to voicemail. Maybe he was on the plane already. But which plane? To where? I opened our shared calendar on my computer. Every family event was there. Soccer practice, parent-teacher conferences, Dinner with his parents next week, but no business trip, no blocked-out dates. My stomach tightened. Naomi, you okay? Angela Brooks appeared at my desk with a cup of coffee. We'd been friends since college, and she worked as a teacher here. She knew my face better than I knew it myself. Yeah, I'm fine. I minimized the calendar window. Ethan had to go out of town suddenly. I'm just trying to figure out his schedule. Angela sat on the edge of my desk. Suddenly? That doesn't sound like him. Ethan was methodical about everything. He planned our grocery trips 2 weeks in advance. He color-coded his work calendar. Sudden wasn't in his vocabulary. No, I said quietly. It doesn't. That afternoon, the kids did homework at the kitchen table while I started dinner. Noah worked on math problems, his tongue poking out in concentration. Lily read quietly, her finger following each word. I reached for the family tablet to look up a recipe. We all used it. Me for Pinterest, Ethan for work emails, the kids for educational games. When I opened the browser, a notification popped up in the corner. A confirmation email from Hampton Suites. My finger hovered over the notification. Then I tapped it. Thank you for your reservation, Mr. Carter. We look forward to welcoming you to Hampton Suites Eastbridge for your stay on November 15th, 16. Eastbridge. 45 minutes from our house. I read the email again. Then again. The reservation was for tonight. For one night. For one guest. Mommy, can you help me with this word? Lily held up her book. What word, baby? My voice sounded normal, calm, but my heart was beating fast. Suspicious. I looked at her. Suspicious. It means when something doesn't feel right. When you think someone might be hiding something. She nodded and went back to reading. I took a screenshot of the email before it disappeared. Then I stared at my phone screen. 45 minutes away. That wasn't a business trip. That was hiding. I waited until after dinner to call the hotel. The kids were in the living room watching a movie. I stood in the kitchen, phone pressed to my ear. Hampton Suites Eastbridge, this is Rebecca. How can I help you? Hi, I said, keeping my voice bright. I wanted to confirm a reservation for my husband. Carter, Ethan Carter. Let me check for you. I heard typing. Yes, Mr. Carter checked in this afternoon around 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, right around the time I tried to call him. Perfect, I said. And that's just him, right? No additional guests? That's correct. One guest, king room, checking out tomorrow. Thank you so much. I hung up and stared at the phone in my hand. He was there. Right now. Less than an hour away. Alone. But why lie about it? Why pretend it was far away? Why avoid the kid's FaceTime question? I leaned against the kitchen counter and closed my eyes. The feeling in my chest wasn't confusion anymore. It was knowing. The kind of knowing that starts in your stomach and spreads everywhere else. Something was very wrong. I tucked the kids into bed at 8 o'clock. Noah fell asleep immediately, his small hand clutching his stuffed elephant. Lily lay awake longer, staring at the ceiling. Is Daddy coming home tomorrow? She asked. Yes, baby. Tomorrow evening. Will you be sad if he doesn't? The question caught me off guard. Why would you ask that? You look sad now, even when you're smiling. I smoothed her hair back from her forehead. I'm not sad. Just thinking about grown-up stuff. Boring grown-up stuff. Very boring. She smiled and closed her eyes. Good. I don't want to think about grown-up stuff yet. I kissed her forehead and turned off the light. Downstairs, I sat on the couch with my laptop. I could watch TV. I could read a book. I could call Angela and talk about normal things. Instead, I opened the screenshot of the hotel confirmation again. Hampton Suites Eastbridge wasn't a business hotel. It was fancy. Romantic. The kind of place you took someone special. My hands shook as I typed the hotel's website into my browser. I scrolled through photos of elegant rooms with 4-poster beds and marble bathrooms, couples smiling over wine glasses, rose petals on white sheets. This wasn't a work trip. I closed the laptop and sat in the dark living room. The house felt too quiet without Ethan's voice, without the sound of him moving around upstairs, without him kissing me goodnight. But he wasn't at work. He was 45 minutes away, in a romantic hotel, lying to me about where he was. The question wasn't what he was doing there. The question was who he was doing it with. The next morning, I got the kids dressed in their nicest clothes. Noah wore his button-down shirt with the tiny cars on it. Lily picked her blue dress with the white collar. "Why are we dressed up?" Noah asked as I combed his hair. "We're going to visit Daddy," I said. "At his work?" Something like that. Lily appeared in the bathroom doorway. "Are we surprising him?" I met her eyes in the mirror. "Yes, honey. We're surprising him." She smiled. "Will he be happy to see us?" "We'll find out." I dressed carefully. Black pants, white blouse, my pearl earrings. I wanted to look like myself. Not like someone trying too hard. Not like someone falling apart. In the car, I programmed the hotel address into my GPS. The kids chattered in the back seat about school and friends and weekend plans. Normal conversation, normal day. But nothing about this felt normal. The drive took 38 minutes. The GPS led us through downtown Eastbridge, past boutique shops and expensive restaurants. The kind of place Ethan liked to take me for anniversaries. The kind of place he apparently took other people now. Hampton Suites sat on a hill overlooking the river. Valet parking, marble columns, doormen in white gloves. I pulled up to the entrance and a young man in a black vest approached my car. "Checking in?" he asked. "Just visiting," I said. He gestured to a parking spot near the front door. "Take your time." Inside, the lobby was all cream and gold. Fresh flowers on every table. Classical music playing softly. Guests in expensive clothes moved through the space like they belonged there. I didn't belong there. Not in my Target clothes and department store shoes. But I walked to the front desk anyway, holding Noah's hand, with Lily close beside me. "Can I help you?" The receptionist was young, blonde, perfectly made up. "I'm looking for my husband's room. Ethan Carter." She typed something into her computer. "Mr. Carter checked in yesterday. Is he expecting you?" The kids looked up at me, waiting for my answer. "It's a surprise," I said. She hesitated. "I can't give out room numbers without permission, but I can call up and let him know you're here." "That's okay. What floor is he on? I want to surprise him." "I really can't. Please," I said quietly. We drove a long way. The kids want to see their daddy. The receptionist looked at Noah and Lily. They smiled at her with innocent faces. "Floor 7, she said finally. "Room 714. "Thank you." We rode the elevator in silence. Lily held my left hand, Noah held my right. They swung our hands gently as we climbed higher. "Are you nervous, Mommy?" Lily asked. "A little bit. Me too. But good nervous. Like before a school play." I squeezed her hand. If only she knew this wasn't like a school play at all. The 7th floor hallway was long and quiet. Thick carpet, soft lighting, numbered doors every few feet. We walked slowly, looking for 714. I found it at the end of the hall. For a moment, we just stood there. I could hear voices inside. Ethan's voice. And another voice. A woman's voice. My heart hammered against my ribs. "Should I knock?" Lily whispered. I nodded, not trusting my voice. She knocked 3 times, soft and polite. The voices inside stopped. Footsteps approached the door. I heard Ethan say, "Who could that be?" The door opened, but it was Noah who opened it. He'd reached up and turned the handle before I could stop him. The door swung wide. Ethan stood in the doorway wearing a hotel bathrobe. His hair was messy. His face went white when he saw us. Behind him, a woman sat on the edge of the bed. She had long brown hair and perfect makeup. She wore a silk nightgown that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. She looked at me like I was a stranger who'd walked into the wrong room. "Ethan," she said, her voice sharp. "Who is this?" Ethan's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. Noah pushed past him into the room. "Daddy, we surprised you." Lily followed, but she stayed close to my side. She sensed something was wrong. The woman stood up from the bed. She was tall, elegant, everything I wasn't. "Excuse me, but this is a private room." I looked at her, then at Ethan, then back at her. "I'm Naomi," I said calmly. "The kid's mom." The woman's face changed. She looked confused, then embarrassed, then angry. "The kid's mom," she repeated. "Daddy, why are you wearing a bathrobe in the middle of the day?" Noah asked. "Are you sick?" Ethan finally found his voice. "Kids, why don't you sit by the window for a minute?" I guided Lily and Noah to the chairs near the window. They sat down, looking around the fancy room with wide eyes. "Madeline," Ethan said quietly. "This is my wife." Madeline. Even her name sounded expensive. She stared at me. "Your wife?" "Yes." "You said you were getting divorced." The words hit me like cold water. I looked at Ethan. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "We need to talk," he whispered to me. "But not here. Not with the kids." I stood there for another moment, taking in the scene. The unmade bed. The wine glasses on the nightstand. His wedding ring sitting on the dresser like it was just another piece of jewelry he'd taken off. "Come on, kids," I said. "Let's go home." "But we just got here," Noah protested. "I know, baby, but Daddy has work to finish." Lily took my hand without arguing. She understood something Noah didn't. As we walked to the door, I heard Madeline say, "So you're married, not separated." I didn't wait to hear Ethan's answer. In the elevator, Noah asked, "Who was that lady?" "Daddy's friend," I said. "She was pretty, but not as pretty as you." Lily squeezed my hand. "Mommy, your hands are shaking." I looked down. She was right. Sometimes grown-ups get scared too. I said, "What are you scared of?" I thought about how to answer that. How do you explain to an 8-year-old that sometimes the person you trust most in the world turns out to be a stranger? "I'm scared of things changing," I said finally. The elevator doors opened. We walked through the fancy lobby, past the beautiful people, out into the cold November air. In the car, I sat for a moment before starting the engine. My hands were still shaking. My phone buzzed with a text from Ethan. "Please let me explain. It's not what you think." I deleted the message without responding. It was exactly what I thought, and now I knew for sure. The life I'd built with Ethan Carter was a lie. The question was, what I was going to do about it. I started the car and drove home, my kids chattering in the back seat about the fancy hotel and the pretty lady and when they'd see Daddy again. I didn't have an answer for them yet, but I was starting to form a plan. The drive home felt like floating underwater. Everything sounded muffled and far away. Noah talked about the hotel's fancy chandelier. Lily asked if we could get room service at our house. Normal kid questions about an abnormal day. I pulled into our driveway and sat for a moment, staring at our house. The blue shutters Ethan had painted last spring. The flower boxes I'd planted with daisies. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt the same. "Can we have pizza for dinner?" Noah asked as we walked to the front door. "Sure, baby." "The kind with just cheese?" "Whatever you want." Inside, I helped them out of their nice clothes and into pajamas, even though it was only 4 o'clock. Sometimes comfort matters more than schedules. My phone buzzed constantly, text after text from Ethan. I turned it face down on the kitchen counter and focused on opening the pizza delivery app. Mommy, why did Daddy look scared when we opened the door? Lily asked. She was curled up in the living room chair, her favorite blanket wrapped around her. I sat down on the couch across from her. Sometimes grown-ups get surprised and don't know what to say. But we're his kids. He should be happy to see us. He was happy. He was just confused. Noah climbed onto the couch next to me. The lady seemed mean. She didn't smile at us. Not everyone knows how to talk to kids, I said. Do you think she's Daddy's boss? I looked at his innocent face. 6 years old and trying to make sense of adult problems that didn't make sense. I don't know, honey. We'll have to ask Daddy when he comes home. When is he coming home? Tomorrow. But I wasn't sure I wanted him to come home at all. After the kids went to bed, I finally looked at my phone. 15 missed calls, 23 text messages. Naomi, please call me back. Let me explain what you saw. It's not what you think. The kids shouldn't have seen that. I'm coming home tonight. Please don't tell anyone until we talk. The last message made me pause. Don't tell anyone. Like this was my shame to carry instead of his. I called Angela. Hey girl, she said. How was your day? I found Ethan with another woman. Silence. What? At a hotel. I took the kids to surprise him. She was there. Oh my God. Are you okay? Are the kids okay? The kids don't really understand what they saw. And I don't know if I'm okay. Where are you now? Home. He's been calling and texting all evening. Don't answer. Not tonight. You need time to think. I keep replaying it in my head. The way she looked at me. Like I didn't belong there. How did she look at you? I thought about Madeline's face. The confusion. The dismissal. Like I was the maid or something. Like she couldn't understand why I was in the room. And what did Ethan say? He introduced me as the kid's mom. Not his wife. The kid's mom. Angela was quiet for a moment. That tells you everything you need to know about how he sees this situation. My phone beeped with another call. Ethan again. He's calling, I said. You don't have to answer. Maybe I should. Maybe I need to hear what he has to say. Only if you're ready. Don't let him pressure you into anything tonight. I looked around our living room. Our wedding photos on the mantle. The kids' art projects stuck to the refrigerator. 8 years of building a life together. I'll call you back, I said. I answered on the last ring. Naomi, thank God. Ethan's voice was shaky. I've been trying to reach you for hours. I was with the kids. Are they okay? Are they asking questions? They're fine. They don't understand what they saw. Good. That's good. He paused. Can we talk? I mean, really talk? We're talking now. I mean in person. I'm driving home. I thought you weren't coming back until tomorrow. I can't stay here. Not after today. I need to see you. I walked to the window and looked out at our front yard. What would you have done if we hadn't shown up? What do you mean? Would you have come home tomorrow and pretended nothing happened? It's not that simple. It seems pretty simple to me. Naomi, please. I know how this looks, but how long have you been seeing her? Silence. How long, Ethan? 3 months. 3 months. While I was helping Noah with his reading, while I was planning Lily's birthday party, while I was kissing him goodbye every morning. Do you love her? The question came out before I could stop it. It's complicated. Do you love her? I don't know. But he didn't say no. I'll be home in an hour, he said. We need to talk about this properly. The kids are asleep. Keep your voice down when you get here. Of course. Naomi, I'm so sorry. I never wanted it to happen this way. This way. Like there was a better way for me to find out my husband was cheating. I hung up without saying goodbye. Ethan got home at 11:30. I heard his car in the driveway, then his key in the lock. He moved quietly through the house, probably checking on the kids first. I waited for him in the kitchen, sitting at the table where we ate breakfast every morning, where we helped with homework every night, where we'd planned our future together. He appeared in the doorway, still wearing the clothes I'd seen him in at the hotel. His face looked older somehow, tired. "Hi," he said softly. "Sit down." He sat across from me, the same spot where he'd announced his fake business trip that morning. Had that really been just this morning? "I don't know where to start," he said. "Start with the truth." He rubbed his face with his hands. "I met her at a conference in September. She works in marketing for one of our client companies. What's her name? Madeline Shaw. And you've been seeing her for 3 months." "Yes." "Where?" "Different places. Her apartment sometimes. Hotels when we could get away." Each detail felt like a small cut. I kept my voice steady. "What did you tell her about me?" He looked confused. "What do you mean?" "She seemed surprised that you had a wife, like she didn't know I existed." "I told her we were having problems." "What kind of problems?" "Just problems. Growing apart, not connecting anymore." "Are we having problems, Ethan?" He looked at his hands. "I thought we were." "What problems? Be specific." "I don't know. We don't talk like we used to. We're always busy with work and kids. We don't have time for each other anymore. So you found time for her instead. It wasn't planned, it just happened. For 3 months. Yes." I studied his face. The man I'd married 9 years ago. The father of my children. "Do you want to work this out?" "Yes. I want to fix this." "Fix what exactly? The fact that you got caught?" "Fix us. Fix our marriage." "What about her?" "It's over. I ended it tonight. Because you got caught. Because I realized what I was throwing away." I stood up and walked to the window. Our backyard looked peaceful in the moonlight. The swing set where our kids played. The garden where we grew tomatoes every summer. "I need you to sleep in the guest room," I said. "Naomi, I need space to think, and the kids don't need to see us fighting." "We're not fighting." I turned around. "Aren't we?" He looked at me for a long moment. "I'll sleep in the guest room, for as long as you need." "Thank you." He stood up like he was going to say something else. Then he just nodded and left the kitchen. I sat back down at the table and put my head in my hands. The house was quiet, except for the hum of the refrigerator and the tick of the clock above the stove. 3 months. While I was living my normal life, he was living a secret one. The next few days passed in a strange kind of normal. Ethan went to work. I went to work. The kids went to school. We ate dinner together and helped with homework and watched TV. But everything was different. Ethan tried too hard. He brought me coffee in bed. He offered to do the dishes. He played extra games with the kids before bedtime. I went through the motions, but I felt disconnected from everything, like I was watching someone else's life from the outside. On Thursday, I was cleaning out a drawer in our home office when I found one of our old iPads. We'd stopped using it when we got new ones, but it was still logged into Ethan's accounts. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. I opened his text messages and scrolled back to September. The first messages between Ethan and Madeline were professional. Meeting times, work documents, client information. Then they got personal. "Thanks for dinner tonight. Great to talk to someone who gets the business. You too. It's nice to have intelligent conversation for once." For once? My wife doesn't really understand what I do for work. Different worlds, you know? I kept reading. She's lucky to have someone so successful. Sometimes I wonder if we're just too different. Different backgrounds, different goals. What do you mean? She's a good person, a good mom. But we don't connect intellectually anymore, That must be lonely. It is. I scrolled down to more recent messages. Madeline's photo showed up on my screen, a picture of her at some fancy restaurant. She looked perfect, polished, like she belonged in Ethan's world. Wish you were here tonight. Work dinner is boring without you. I can think of better ways to spend the evening. Careful. My wife might see that. Does she check your phone? No. She trusts me. Sometimes I think she's too trusting. Maybe that's the problem. You need someone who challenges you, someone like you. I'm not like her. I get your world. I fit in it. I kept scrolling, even though each message made me feel sicker. I have to ask, is the race thing ever weird for you guys? What do you mean? Being married to someone so different. Do people stare? Does your family accept her? It's complicated. My mom has never really warmed up to her, says we're from different worlds. And what do you think? I think my mom might be right. Naomi tries, but she doesn't really fit into my social circles. Work events are awkward. She doesn't know how to talk to people. That must be hard. She's a good person. But we want different things now. She's happy with simple. I want more. You deserve more. Sometimes I think about what my life would be like if I'd married someone more. Compatible. Compatible how? Someone who understands my world. Someone who looks the part. Someone who looks the part. I put the iPad down and walked to the bathroom. I stared at myself in the mirror. My brown skin. My natural hair that I wore in a simple style because I didn't have time for anything fancy. My Target clothes and drugstore makeup. I didn't look the part. For 8 years, I'd thought Ethan loved me for who I was. But apparently, he'd been thinking about what I wasn't. That evening, Ethan suggested we try to have a normal family dinner. No phones, no distractions. Just the 4 of us around the table like we used to do. I made spaghetti and meatballs, the kids' favorite. Noah told us about a funny thing that happened at recess. Lily showed us a drawing she'd made of our family. In the drawing, we were all holding hands and smiling. Even the stick figure parents looked happy. That's beautiful, baby, I said. I'm going to put it on the refrigerator, she announced. Good idea. Ethan smiled at her. You're getting really good at drawing. Mommy taught me how to draw hands. She said the trick is to look at your own hand while you draw. Smart, Mommy, he said, looking at me. I focused on twirling spaghetti around my fork. After dinner, the kids went upstairs to get ready for baths. Ethan started loading the dishwasher. This was nice, he said. Felt normal. Did it? Yeah, like we might be able to get through this. I watched him rinse plates and put them in the dishwasher. His movements were careful, deliberate, like he was trying to prove something. Ethan, can I ask you something? Of course. Do you think I'm too simple? He stopped rinsing and looked at me. What? Do you think I want simple things while you want more? His face changed. Where is this coming from? Just answer the question. He set down the plate he was holding. I think we want different things sometimes, but that doesn't make you simple. What things do we want differently? I don't know. Bigger house, nicer vacations, social events. I've never said no to any of those things. But you don't really enjoy them. You're uncomfortable at work parties. You don't like fancy restaurants. I don't like fancy restaurants because the people there make me feel unwelcome. Not because I don't appreciate nice things. What do you mean? I mean, I notice when people look at us, when they wonder what you're doing with me, when they assume I don't belong. Ethan was quiet for a moment. I don't think that's true. It's true. And I think part of you notices it too. Naomi, do you think your life would be easier if you were married to someone else? No. Someone who looks more like Madeline? His face went white. How do you know about... I found your messages. He leaned against the counter. Naomi, those were just conversations. I was confused and upset. You told her I don't fit into your world. I was venting. I didn't mean it. You told her you think about what your life would be like if you'd married someone more compatible. I was having a hard time. I wasn't thinking clearly. You told her I don't look the part. He closed his eyes. I'm sorry. For saying it or for meaning it. For all of it. For being an idiot. For hurting you. I stood up from the table. I'm going to give the kids their baths. Can we finish talking about this? I think we've said enough for tonight. That weekend, Ethan's mother came for Sunday brunch. Ruth Carter was elegant and polite and had never quite figured out how to treat me like family. She brought expensive pastries from a French bakery downtown. She kissed Ethan's cheek and hugged the kids. She nodded at me with a tight smile. Naomi, you look tired, she said. Just busy with work and the kids. Of course. That must be exhausting. We sat around the dining room table, using the good china that Ruth had given us for our wedding. The kids chattered about school while Ruth asked Ethan about work. How's the Henderson account going? She asked. Really well. Madeline Shaw has been great to work with. Very professional, very polished. I looked up sharply. He was talking about her. Right here, right now, in front of me and the kids. Madeline Shaw, Ruth repeated. Pretty name. Does she work for Henderson? She's their marketing director. Harvard MBA, very impressive. Harvard. How wonderful. It's so nice when you can work with people who understand your world. The words hung in the air. What do you mean? I asked. Ruth looked surprised, like she'd forgotten I was there. Oh, just that it's easier to work with people who have similar backgrounds, similar education, similar social circles. You know. I looked at Ethan. He was cutting his pastry into small pieces, not meeting my eyes. I think smart people come from all kinds of backgrounds, I said quietly. Oh, of course, Ruth said quickly. I didn't mean to suggest otherwise. It's just that some people are more suited to certain environments. What environments? Well, corporate environments, high-level business. That sort of thing requires a certain polish, a certain understanding of how things work. Lily looked up from her orange juice. What's Polish, Grandma? It's how you present yourself, dear. How you fit in with important people. Mommy fits in with important people, Noah said. She works at school with all the teachers and the principal. Ruth smiled condescendingly. Of course she does, sweet boy. I felt heat rise in my chest. The school system is important work too. Absolutely, Ruth said. Very important. Just different from what Ethan does. Different how? She looked uncomfortable. Well, Ethan moves in more sophisticated circles. Business leaders, investors, people who shape the economy. It requires a certain presentation. And you don't think I have the right presentation? I think you're perfect for what you do, she said carefully. Ethan finally looked up. Mom, maybe we should change the subject, but I wasn't ready to change the subject. What would the right presentation look like? Ruth glanced at Ethan, then back at me. Just someone who understands the expectations. Someone who looks comfortable in those settings. Someone who looks like Madeline Shaw? The words came out before I could stop them. Ruth's face went blank. I'm sorry. Ethan put down his fork. Naomi. Someone white, you mean. Someone who doesn't make people wonder what she's doing there. That's not what I said. But it's what you meant. The kids had stopped eating. They looked back and forth between us with worried faces. Can we please not do this in front of the children? Ethan said. Do what? Have an honest conversation about why your family has never accepted me. Ruth stood up. I think I should go. Please, I said, stay. Help me understand what I've been doing wrong for 8 years. You haven't done anything wrong, she said stiffly. But families work best when people have shared values, shared backgrounds, shared skin color. That's not what I'm saying. Then what are you saying? She looked at Ethan for help. He sat there silently. I'm saying that some marriages face more challenges than others, and maybe those challenges become too much over time. I nodded slowly. I see. Ruth gathered her purse. Ethan, walk me to my car. They left the dining room together. I could hear them talking quietly in the hallway, but I couldn't make out the words. The kids finished their brunch in silence. When Ethan came back, he sat down heavily. That was unnecessary, he said. Was it? Or was it the most honest conversation we've had in years? She doesn't mean it the way it sounded. How does she mean it? She just wants what's best for me. And what's best for you is someone who looks like Madeline Shaw. He didn't answer. That night, after the kids went to bed, I sat on our bed and looked around the room, our wedding photo on the dresser, Ethan's tie from work draped over the chair, the book I'd been reading on my nightstand. It all looked the same. But I felt like a stranger in my own life. Ethan appeared in the doorway. Can I come in? It's your room too. He sat on the edge of the bed. I'm sorry about my mother. Are you... She doesn't understand how her words sound. She understands exactly how they sound. Maybe, but I don't agree with her. I turned to face him. Don't you? No. You told Madeline that I don't fit into your world. You said you think about being married to someone more compatible. You said I don't look the part. I was confused. I was saying things I didn't mean. Dior, you were finally saying what you really think. That's not true. I looked at his face, his blue eyes, his sandy hair, his earnest expression. 8 years ago, I'd thought love could overcome anything. I'd thought his family would warm up to me eventually. I'd thought our differences made us stronger. But sitting there, looking at the man who'd been lying to me for 3 months, who'd been sharing his doubts about our marriage with another woman, who'd sat silent while his mother questioned whether I belonged in his life, I realized love wasn't enough. Not when the person you loved was ashamed of loving you back. I think you should sleep in the guest room again tonight, I said. For how long? I don't know. Naomi, please, we can work through this. Can we? Your mother thinks we're too different. You've been telling another woman that we don't connect. You've been hiding our marriage like it's something to be embarrassed about. I'm not embarrassed about our marriage. Then why did you introduce me as the kid's mom instead of your wife? He was quiet for a long moment. I panicked. You panicked because you didn't want her to know you were really married to someone like me. That's not. It is. I stood up from the bed. It's exactly what happened. I walked to our bedroom door and put my hand on the frame. I've spent 8 years trying to prove that I belong in your world, I said. I'm tired of trying to be enough for people who will never think I'm enough. You are enough, more than enough. No, Ethan, I'm not enough for you, and that's not my fault. He looked at me with sad eyes. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe your mother is right. Maybe some marriages face too many challenges. Are you giving up on us? I thought about the question. Was I giving up? Or was I finally accepting what had always been true? I'm going to sleep in Lily's room tonight, I said. You can have our bed back. Naomi, I need time to think. Real time, not just a few days. How much time? I don't know. I left him sitting on the bed and went to check on the kids. They were both sleeping peacefully, their faces relaxed and innocent. They didn't know their world was falling apart. But I was starting to think maybe our world had been broken for a long time. I'd just been too busy trying to fix it to notice. I spent Monday morning at work organizing paperwork like my life depended on it. Field trip permission slips, emergency contact forms, substitute teacher schedules, normal tasks that felt strange when everything else was falling apart. Angela found me at lunch, sitting alone in my car in the parking lot. "You look like you're planning something," she said, sliding into the passenger seat. "What makes you say that?" "You get this look when you're thinking hard. Same look you had before you applied for this job. Same look you had before you told your parents you were marrying Ethan." I stared at the elementary school building in front of us. Kids were playing on the playground, their laughter carrying through the air. "I think I'm going to leave him," I said quietly. Angela was quiet for a moment. "Are you sure?" "His mother basically told me I don't belong in their family. He's been telling another woman that I'm too simple for his world, and when I found him with her, he introduced me as the kid's mom." "What about counseling? Therapy?" "You can't counsel someone into respecting you." "And the kids?" That was the part that kept me awake at night. "They'll be okay. Kids are tougher than we think." "Where will you go?" "I don't know yet. Your couch for a while if that's okay." Angela reached over and squeezed my hand. "Of course. But are you sure this is what you want? Not what you're doing because you're angry." I thought about the question. Was I angry? Yes. But this felt bigger than anger. "I'm tired," I said finally. Tired of trying to prove I'm good enough. Tired of pretending his family's comments don't hurt. Tired of feeling like I'm not enough exactly as I am. You've always been enough. I know that now, but I don't think Ethan does. That evening, I started making lists. Quietly, carefully. Things I needed to do. Things I needed to take. Things I needed to figure out. I opened a new bank account online. Just in my name. I'd been putting my whole paycheck into our joint account for 8 years, but I had enough saved for a deposit on an apartment. I researched schools in other districts, not because I wanted to move the kids far away, but because I wanted to know my options. I looked at rental listings, small places, 2 bedrooms, near playgrounds, and good elementary schools. The kids did homework at the kitchen table while I worked on my laptop. Normal evening routine with an undercurrent of change. "Mommy, what are you looking at?" Lily asked, glancing up from her math worksheet. "Just work stuff," I said. "It doesn't look like schoolwork." "Different kind of work." She nodded and went back to her problems. But I caught her watching me again a few minutes later. Kids know, they always know when something is shifting. Ethan tried to help with dinner that night. He stood next to me at the stove, asking if I needed anything, offering to chop vegetables, generally getting in my way. "I can handle it," I said. "I want to help." "You don't usually help." "I want to start." I looked at him. "Why?" "Because I want to fix this. I want us to be a team again." "We were never really a team, Ethan." "That's not true." I stirred the pasta sauce and thought about that. "When did you last ask me what I wanted to do on a weekend?" "What do you mean?" "We always do what you want to do. Your friends, your family events, your idea of fun." "That's not true." "When was the last time we had dinner with my friends?" He was quiet. "When was the last time you asked about my dreams, my goals, what I want for the future?" We talk about the future all the time. We talk about your version of the future. Bigger house, better neighborhood, private schools. But we never talk about what I might want. "What do you want?" The question caught me off guard. Not because I didn't know the answer, but because he'd never asked before. "I want to be seen," I said quietly. "Really seen. Not as someone you're trying to improve or someone who needs to fit into your world, just seen as enough exactly as I am." I do see you. No, you don't. You see someone you love in spite of her flaws instead of someone you love because of who she is. The pasta water started boiling. I added the noodles and watched them swirl around. That's not how I see you, Ethan said. It's how you describe me to Madeline. Those conversations were true. They were true, Ethan. Maybe for the first time you were being honest about how you really feel. He leaned against the counter. So what happens now? I don't know yet. Are we going to keep living like roommates? I don't think we can keep living like anything. The words hung in the air between us. 2 weeks later, I found a small apartment across town. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a tiny kitchen. The rent was affordable. The neighborhood was safe. There was a playground across the street. It was nothing like our house. No granite countertops or hardwood floors. No fancy appliances or walk-in closets. Just clean, simple space where my kids could be happy. I signed the lease during my lunch break. That evening, I sat Ethan down after the kids went to bed. I found an apartment, I said. His face went pale. What? The kids and I are going to move out, just for a while, until we figure things out. Naomi, please. We haven't even tried to work on this. We've been working on this for 2 weeks. Nothing has changed. I ended things with Madeline. I know, but that doesn't fix the real problem. What's the real problem? I looked at him across our kitchen table, the same table where we'd eaten thousands of meals together, where we'd helped our kids with homework, where we'd planned birthday parties and Christmas mornings. The real problem is that you don't really want to be married to me, I said calmly. You want to be married to the idea of me. The version of me that fits into your life without causing any complications. That's not true. You've spent 3 months telling another woman how incompatible we are, how I don't fit into your world, how your mother was right about us being too different. I was confused. You were honest. Maybe for the first time in our marriage. Ethan put his head in his hands. What about the kids? They'll stay with me most of the time. You can see them whenever you want. We're not moving far. This isn't what I want. What do you want? I want my family back. Your family is fine. We're just not going to pretend to be something we're not anymore. How is that better for anyone? I thought about the question. It's better because the kids will see what real happiness looks like, instead of watching us pretend. Are you filing for divorce? I'm taking time to figure out what I want, without pressure from you or your family or anyone else. How long? I don't know. He looked up at me. Is there any chance you'll come back? I studied his face. The face I'd fallen in love with 9 years ago. The father of my children. The man who'd shared my life but never really understood it. There's always a chance, I said. But not for the same marriage we had before. What would have to change? Everything. I told the kids on Saturday morning. We sat in the living room together, all 4 of us. Ethan and I on opposite ends of the couch. Lily and Noah on the floor playing with Legos. We need to talk to you about something important, I said. They looked up with worried faces. Mommy and Daddy need to spend some time apart, Ethan said, to figure some things out. Are you getting divorced? Lily asked. 8 years old, and she cut right to the point. We don't know yet, I said honestly. Right now, we just need some space. Where will we live? Noah asked. With me most of the time, in a new apartment. It's smaller than this house, but there's a playground across the street. Will Daddy visit us? Of course, Ethan said, whenever you want to see me. Lily was quiet for a moment. Is this because of the lady at the hotel? Ethan's face crumpled. Partly. Did you do something bad? Yes, he said quietly. I made some very bad choices. Noah climbed onto the couch next to me. Are you sad, Mommy? A little bit, but I'm okay. Will you be happier in the new apartment? The question surprised me. I think I might be. Then that's good, he said simply. Kids see things so clearly sometimes. Angela helped me move the following weekend. We packed clothes, toys, books, the essentials. I left most of the furniture and household stuff. The kids needed familiar things, but I didn't need reminders. The apartment felt huge when we first walked in, even though it was tiny compared to our house. Open, light, like I could breathe for the first time in months. It's cozy, Lily said, running from room to room. Can I have the room with the window seat? Noah asked. That's going to be your room, I told him. They explored every corner while I unpacked boxes. Their energy was different here. Lighter, like they felt the freedom too. That first night, we ordered Chinese takeout and ate sitting on the floor of the living room. We didn't have a table yet, but it felt like an adventure. This is fun, Noah announced, trying to use chopsticks. Like camping, Lily agreed. Except with better food, I said. They laughed, real, genuine laughter, the kind I hadn't heard from them in weeks. After they went to bed, I sat alone in my new living room. No husband wondering where I was, no in-laws calling to criticize, no one to please except myself and my kids. I felt peaceful for the first time in years. Ethan called every night that first week. He wanted to hear about their day, help with homework over the phone, say goodnight. The kids were happy to talk to him, but they adapted to the routine faster than I'd expected. On Friday, he picked them up for the weekend, his first time alone with them since we'd separated. Where will you take them? I asked as they got ready. I thought we'd stay at the house, order pizza, watch movies. They like that. Will you be okay? By yourself? I almost laughed. I'll be fine. But after they left, I realized I had no idea what to do with myself. I'd been a wife and mother for so long, I'd forgotten how to be just me. I called Angela. Want to go see a movie? She asked. Something completely inappropriate for children? Yes. We went to a late showing of an action movie with explosions and car chases and absolutely no educational value. I ate popcorn for dinner and stayed out until midnight. I felt like myself again. Not Ethan's wife or the kid's mother, just Naomi. 3 weeks after I moved out, Angela told me she'd heard rumors at work. About what? I asked. About Ethan and his girlfriend. Apparently it didn't end as cleanly as he told you. We were having coffee in my new kitchen, small but sunny, with a view of the playground where my kids played every afternoon. What kind of rumors? She was apparently pretty angry when he broke things off, made some calls to his work, caused some drama. I felt a strange mix of satisfaction and pity. How do you know this? My cousin works downtown. She heard it from someone who knows someone. Small town gossip. I should have felt bad for Ethan. But mostly I felt relieved that I wasn't dealing with it. Has he said anything to you? No. He just talks about the kids when he calls. How are the kids handling the weekends with him? Fine. They say he tries too hard, buys them too many things, takes them to too many places. Like he's trying to make up for something. He probably is. My phone buzzed with a text from Ethan. Can we talk sometime this week? Not about us. About practical stuff. I showed Angela the message. Practical stuff could be anything, she said. Or it could actually be practical stuff. I texted back. Sure. Tuesday after the kids go to bed? Thanks. I'll call around 8. Tuesday evening, Ethan called exactly at 8. How are you? He asked. Good. The kids are settling in well. They seem happy when I see them. They are happy. And you? I'm good too. Silence for a moment. I wanted to talk about money, he said finally. I know you opened your own account, but I want to make sure you have enough. For the apartment, for the kids. We're managing fine. I want to help. It's my responsibility. We can figure out something official if we need to. For now, we're okay. Okay. Another pause. I also wanted to tell you that the thing with Madeline got complicated after I ended it. I heard. You heard? Small town. Right. He sighed. She wasn't happy about how things ended. Made some calls to my office. I'm sorry that happened. Are you? The question surprised me. Of course. I don't want you to have problems at work. Even after everything I did? Ethan, I don't hate you. I'm not trying to punish you. I just can't be married to you anymore. Can't or won't. I thought about the difference. I won't pretend to be someone I'm not, and I won't stay married to someone who wishes I was different. I don't wish you were different. Yes, you do. You wish I was more like Madeline, more polished, more sophisticated, more white. That's not true. It's what you told her. I was lying to myself, and to her. Maybe. But you can't unthink thoughts, and I can't unhear words. We were both quiet for a long moment. I miss you, he said finally. I know. Do you miss me? I looked around my small apartment, at the simple furniture I'd bought myself, at the kids' artwork taped to the refrigerator, at the life I was building without him. I miss parts of you, I said honestly. I miss feeling like part of a team. I miss having someone to share the kids' funny stories with. I miss having another adult around. But I don't miss feeling like I'm not enough. I don't miss trying to fit into spaces where I'm not wanted. I don't miss defending my place in your life. You never had to defend your place. I've been defending my place since the day we met. That's not how I remember it. I know, I said gently. That's part of the problem. 6 weeks after I moved out, I ran into Ethan at the grocery store. I was buying groceries for the week, trying to stick to my new smaller budget. He was in the wine section, looking lost. Hi, he said when he saw me. Hi. How are you? Good. You? Okay. Work's been crazy. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Two people who'd shared a life, now strangers making small talk. I'm having dinner with my parents tonight, he said finally. My mom asked about you and the kids. What did you tell her? That you're doing well. That the kids are happy. Are you? Am I what? Happy that we're doing well? He looked surprised by the question. Of course. Why would I want you to be unhappy? I don't know. Some people want their ex to suffer. We're not divorced yet. No, I agreed. We're not. Do you think we will be? I shifted my grocery cart to the side to let another shopper pass. I think we'll figure it out when we're ready. I'm ready to work on things, if you ever want to try. What would that look like? I don't know. Counseling, maybe. Starting over. Starting over as what? As us, but better. I studied his face. He looked older, tired. But there was something different in his eyes. Something that might have been understanding. The thing is, I said carefully, I'm not sure there is an us to go back to. What do you mean? I mean, maybe we were never as compatible as we thought we were. We were happy. You were happy. I was trying to make you happy. That's not true. It is true, and I'm tired of trying to convince you that my version of events matters too. He was quiet for a moment. So this is really over. I don't know yet, but it's different now. I'm different now. Different how? I thought about how to explain it. I know what I'm worth now, and I won't settle for less than that again. What if I can be better? Then maybe we'll figure something out. But I'm not waiting around to find out. I started to push my cart away. Naomi? I turned back. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I do love you. I know you do, I said. But love isn't enough by itself. What else is there? Respect, partnership, seeing someone for who they really are instead of who you want them to be. I left him standing in the wine aisle, looking like he was finally starting to understand what he'd lost. That weekend, the kids were with Ethan. I was getting ready to meet Angela for lunch when my phone rang. Ethan's number. "Hey," I answered. "Everything okay?" "Yeah, the kids are fine. They're at the park with my neighbor's kids." He paused. "I wanted to talk to you about something." "Okay." "I've been thinking about what you said at the grocery store, about love not being enough." I sat down on my couch. And I think you're right. I think I loved the idea of you more than I loved you." The admission caught me off guard. Not because it wasn't true, but because he was finally saying it. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I want you to know that I understand now. Why you left. Why you can't come back." "Do you?" "I think so. I spent 8 years trying to make you into someone else. Someone who would make my life easier instead of more complicated." I was quiet, letting him work through his thoughts. "The thing with Madeline wasn't really about her," he continued. "It was about me wanting someone who would make me feel successful instead of challenged. And now I realize that being challenged is better than being comfortable." "What does that mean for us?" "I don't know. Maybe nothing. But I wanted you to know that I see you now. Really see you. And I'm sorry it took losing you to figure that out." I looked out my window at the playground across the street. Kids were running around, their parents sitting on benches, everyone enjoying the afternoon sunshine. "Thank you for saying that," I said. "Does it change anything?" "It helps," I said honestly. "It helps to know that you understand. But it doesn't change anything." "I don't know yet." "That's okay. I just wanted you to know." After we hung up, I sat in my quiet apartment for a long time. The acknowledgement felt good, but it also felt like closure. Whether we worked things out or not, I finally felt like the marriage we'd had before was really over, and that was exactly what needed to happen. 3 months after I moved out, I was walking through downtown with the kids when we saw Ethan coming out of a coffee shop. He was alone, looking at his phone. "Daddy!" Noah called out. Ethan looked up and smiled. A real smile, not the sad, trying too hard smile he'd been wearing for months. "Hey guys," he said, hugging them both. "What are you doing downtown?" "Mommy took us to the Children's Museum," Lily said. "We learned about dinosaurs." "That sounds fun." He looked at me. "You look good." "Thank you." "Happy." "I am happy." "That's good. That's really good." We stood there for a moment, watching the kids chase each other around a nearby fountain. "I'm seeing a therapist," Ethan said suddenly. "Oh." "Trying to figure out why I sabotaged the best thing in my life." "And what have you figured out?" "That I was scared of not being enough for you, so I tried to make you feel like you weren't enough for me." "That's a pretty good insight." "My therapist is expensive, but she's good." I laughed, a real laugh. "I'm glad you're working on things." "Me too." The kids ran back to us, out of breath and giggling. "Can Daddy come to ice cream with us?" Noah asked. I looked at Ethan. "Do you want to come to ice cream?" "If that's okay with you." "It's okay with me." So we went to ice cream together, not as a family trying to pretend everything was normal. Just as 4 people who cared about each other, figuring out a new way to be connected. It felt good. Different, but good. And for the first time since I'd found him at that hotel, I felt like maybe we were all going to be okay. Whatever that ended up looking like. Spring came early that year. By April, the playground across from my apartment was full of kids every afternoon. I could hear their laughter through my kitchen window while I made dinner. The kids had been living with me for 6 months now. Our routines felt natural. Homework at the small table by the window, baths in the tiny bathroom with the cheerful yellow shower curtain, stories before bed in their cozy rooms. They still spent weekends with Ethan, but they always seemed happy to come home to the apartment. "I like it here," Lily told me one evening as I tucked her in. "It feels peaceful." "Peaceful how?" "Nobody's trying to be perfect all the time." 8 years old, and she understood something it had taken me 32 years to figure out. One Saturday morning in late April, I was drinking coffee on the small balcony when my phone rang. Ethan's name appeared on the screen. "The kids are with you until tonight, right?" I answered. "Yeah, they're still sleeping. I wanted to talk to you about something else." "Okay." "I saw a lawyer this week." My stomach dropped. "About what?" "About divorce papers. I wanted to know what the process looks like." I set down my coffee cup. And I wanted to ask you what you want before I do anything official." "What do you mean?" "I mean, do you want to try marriage counseling? Do you want to file for divorce? Do you want to keep things the way they are?" I looked out at the playground. A few early risers were already there, kids on swings, parents with coffee cups like mine. "What do you want?" I asked. "I want another chance. But I want what you want more. That's a change." "Yeah, it is." I was quiet for a moment, thinking. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "If we tried again, what would be different?" "Everything," he said immediately. "I'd start by listening to you instead of trying to fix you." "What else?" "I'd tell my mother that if she can't respect my wife, she can't be part of our lives." "You'd really do that?" "I should have done it years ago." "What else?" "I'd stop trying to make you into someone else and start appreciating who you are." These were good answers, the right answers, but I'd heard promises before. "How do I know you mean it?" "You don't," he said honestly. "I'd have to show you. And if you can't, if you fall back into old patterns, then you'd leave again, and you'd be right to." I sipped my coffee and watched a little boy learn to ride a bike. His father ran beside him, holding the seat, letting go for just a few seconds at a time. "I need more time," I said. "How much time?" "I don't know. I'm still figuring out who I am outside of our marriage." "And how's that going?" I smiled. "Really well, actually." "I'm glad. You deserve to be happy. So do you." "I'm working on it." 2 weeks later, I was at the grocery store when I saw Madeline Shaw. She was in the produce section, looking perfectly put together as always. Designer clothes, perfect makeup, manicured nails. I almost turned around and left. But then I decided I was done avoiding uncomfortable situations. I walked up to the apples and started picking out a few for the kids' lunches. "Naomi?" Madeline's voice was uncertain. I turned around. "Hi, Madeline." She looked uncomfortable. "How are you?" "I'm good. How are you?" "Fine. I wanted to apologize for what happened." I studied her face. She looked different than she had at the hotel. Less confident, more human. "Okay," I said. "I know this doesn't excuse anything, but I thought you were separated. Ethan told me you were getting divorced." "I know what he told you. I wouldn't have. I mean, I don't usually." She stopped and took a breath. "I'm sorry. I made a lot of assumptions." "About what?" "About your marriage. About what kind of person you were. About whether you'd fight for him." "What kind of person did you think I was?" She looked away. "Someone who wouldn't care enough to find out where he was." "And now?" "Now I realize he was lying to both of us, just in different ways." I put another apple in my basket. "Did you love him?" The question seemed to surprise her. "I thought I did. But I think I loved the idea of him more than who he actually was." "That's honest." "He talked about you a lot, you know. Even when he was complaining about your marriage." "What did he say?" "That you were stronger than you looked. That you saw through his BS when everyone else believed it. That you made him want to be a better person. even when he resented you for it. I felt something shift in my chest. He said that? All the time. I think that's why he told me you were too simple for him, because you weren't simple at all. You were just real, and that scared him. We stood there for a moment, two women who'd both been hurt by the same man's confusion about what he wanted. For what it's worth, Madeline said, I think he knows what he lost now. It might be too late for that to matter. Maybe, but at least he knows. She started to walk away, then turned back. You're better than I thought you'd be. What do you mean? I thought you'd hate me. I thought you'd want revenge. I don't hate you, and I don't want revenge. I just want to be happy. She nodded. I hope you get that. I already have it. That evening, after the kids went to bed, I called my sister in California. We hadn't talked much during the chaos of the separation. I'd been too embarrassed to explain what was happening. Naomi, she said when she answered. How are you? How are my babies? We're good. Really good, actually. And Ethan? I took a breath. We're separated. What? When? Why didn't you tell me? So I told her everything. The hotel, the affair, the messages, his family's comments, the decision to leave. She listened without interrupting. I'm proud of you, she said when I finished. For what? For choosing yourself. For showing your kids what self-respect looks like. It was scary. The best decisions usually are. I'm happier now, though, even without knowing what comes next. That's how you know you made the right choice. Yeah? Yeah. When you're willing to live with uncertainty, because it feels better than living with the wrong certainty. After we hung up, I sat in my small living room and looked around. The secondhand couch I'd bought myself. The bookshelf full of novels I finally had time to read. The kids' artwork everywhere. It wasn't the life I'd planned when I married Ethan. But it was a good life. A real life. A life that belonged entirely to me. Memorial Day weekend, Ethan asked if he could take the kids camping. Something they'd talked about for years, but never actually done. Are you sure you can handle them alone for 3 days? I asked. I think it's time I learned. So they went. Ethan picked them up Friday afternoon with a new tent and enough supplies for a month. The kids were excited, chattering about s'mores and hiking trails. I waved goodbye from my balcony and then realized I had 3 days completely to myself, for the first time since they were born. I had no idea what to do with that much freedom. Saturday morning, I slept until 9 o'clock. Then I made breakfast and ate it slowly, reading a book. I took a long bath. I called Angela and made plans to see a movie that night. Sunday, I drove to the beach by myself. I walked along the water, listened to music, sat on a bench and watched the waves. No schedule, no one to please, no crisis to manage. It felt amazing. Sunday evening, Ethan called to check in. How's camping? I asked. Harder than I thought it would be, he admitted. But good. Really good. Are the kids having fun? They're asleep in the tent right now. We hiked 5 miles today. Lily caught a fish. Noah learned how to start a fire. Safely, I hope. Very safely. I'm learning that being a full-time parent requires skills I never developed. Like what? Patience, flexibility, the ability to function on very little sleep. I laughed. Those are important skills. How's your weekend been? Peaceful. I'm reading a book that has nothing to do with parenting or education or anything practical. What's it about? A woman who travels around the world by herself. Sounds like something you'd enjoy. Yeah, it is. We were quiet for a moment. Comfortable quiet. Naomi? Yeah? I'm sorry I never gave you weekends like this before. What do you mean? Time to just be yourself. Time to remember who you are outside of being a wife and mother. Thank you for saying that. I should have said it years ago. When they came back from camping, the kids were dirty, tired, and happier than I'd seen them in months. Daddy let us stay up until 10 o'clock, Noah announced. And we saw so many stars, Lily added, more than we can see from our windows. It sounds like you had a great time. We did, but we missed you, Lily said, hugging me tight. I missed you too. That evening, after they settled back into apartment life, Ethan lingered at the door. Thank you for letting me take them, he said. Of course, they love spending time with you. I learned something this weekend. What's that? Being their dad is the best part of my life, but I never really understood what that meant before. And now you do. Now I know that being their dad means putting them first. Always. Even when it's hard. I looked at him. He did look different. More relaxed. More present. I'm glad you figured that out. Me too. He paused at the door. I also figured out something else. What? I want to be the kind of man you could be proud to be married to, whether or not you choose to be married to me. Ethan, I'm not trying to pressure you. I'm just saying that's my goal now, to become someone worthy of the second chance I threw away. He left before I could respond. June brought warmer weather and the end of the school year. The kids finished second grade and kindergarten with good grades and summer plans that didn't include day camp because I'd finally figured out how to balance work and parenting on my own. One afternoon, I was at the playground with them when I saw Ruth Carter walking toward us. Ethan's mother dressed in her usual perfect outfit, looking completely out of place at a public playground. "Grandma Ruth!" Noah called out, running toward her. She smiled and hugged him, then Lily, but her face was uncertain when she looked at me. "Hello, Naomi." "Ruth, this is a surprise. I was hoping we could talk." I looked at the kids who'd gone back to playing. Okay. We sat on a bench together. Ruth folded her hands in her lap and stared at the playground equipment for a moment. "Ethan told me what happened," she said finally. "About his affair. About you leaving." "Did he?" "He also told me what role I played in your decision." I waited for her to continue. "I owe you an apology," she said quietly. "For the things I've said over the years, for the way I've treated you." Okay. I told myself I was looking out for Ethan's best interests, but really I was just uncomfortable. With what? With change. With my son choosing a life that looked different from what I expected. She watched Lily go down the slide, her face thoughtful. "You've been a good wife to him," she continued. "A good mother to my grandchildren, and I've spent 8 years trying to convince myself that wasn't enough." "Why?" "Because it was easier than admitting I was wrong about what matters in a marriage." I looked at this woman who'd never quite accepted me into her family. She looked smaller somehow, less intimidating. "What do you think matters?" I asked. "Love, respect, partnership. The things you gave my son that he was too foolish to appreciate." We sat in silence for a moment. "Is it too late?" she asked. "For you and Ethan?" "I don't know." "If it's not too late, would my apology make any difference?" I thought about the question. It would make a difference for the kids. Whatever happens between Ethan and me, they deserve to have a grandmother who loves them without conditions. They do, and they have one now, if you'll let them. I looked at Noah and Lily, playing happily together. They deserved all the love they could get. "I think we can work on that," I said. "Thank you." Ruth reached into her purse and pulled out a small wrapped box. "This was my mother's," she said, handing it to me. "I always planned to give it to Ethan's wife someday. I should have given it to you years ago." I opened the box. Inside was a simple gold bracelet with tiny charms. Beautiful and delicate. "Ruth, I can't. Please. Whether or not you and Ethan work things out, You're the mother of my grandchildren. That makes you family." I looked at the bracelet. It felt like more than jewelry. It felt like acceptance. "Thank you," I said. "No, thank you, for being better than I deserved." That evening, I showed the kids the bracelet. They were fascinated by the tiny charms: a heart, a star, a little bird. "Grandma Ruth gave you a present?" Lily asked. "She did. Does that mean she likes you now?" "I think it means she's trying to." "Good," Noah said. "I want everyone to like you." "Everyone doesn't have to like me, baby. Just the people who matter." "Who matters?" "You two, and people who see me for who I really am and think that's enough." "We think you're more than enough," Lily said seriously. "You think I'm the best mommy in the world. You are the best mommy in the world." I hugged them both tight. These kids who'd adapted to so much change with such grace, who loved fiercely and forgave easily, who saw the world simply and clearly. They were right. I was enough. More than enough. The first week of July, Ethan asked if we could have dinner together. Just the two of us. No kids, no pressure, just a chance to talk. We met at a small restaurant downtown. Nothing fancy, nothing loaded with memories. Just a quiet place where we could be honest with each other. "You look good," he said when I sat down. "Thank you. So do you." He did look good, relaxed, like he'd been sleeping better. "How's therapy going?" I asked. "Hard, but helpful." He paused. "I've learned a lot about why I sabotaged us. Such as I was scared of not living up to some idea I had about success, about what my life should look like." The waitress brought our drinks. Water for me, coffee for him. "And what was that idea?" I asked. "Perfect house, perfect wife, perfect family. Everything that looked right from the outside." "And I didn't look right?" "You looked real, and real is scarier than perfect because you can't control it." I sipped my water and thought about that. You're right. You can't control real. I know that now, and I know that trying to control you instead of appreciating you was the worst mistake I've ever made. What changed? What made you realize that? Watching you this past year, seeing how much happier you are without me trying to fix you all the time. I am happier. I can tell, and that hurts, but it also makes me proud of you. Proud. For choosing yourself. For showing our kids what self-respect looks like. For refusing to settle for less than you deserve. The waitress brought our food. Simple pasta dishes, nothing fancy. We ate quietly for a few minutes. "Can I ask you something?" Ethan said. "Sure." "Is there any chance we could try again? Differently this time?" I looked at him across the table. The man I'd loved for 9 years. The father of my children. The person who'd hurt me more than anyone else ever had. "I don't know," I said honestly. "What would it take for you to want to try?" I thought about the question. Time. More time for you to prove you really have changed. More time for me to figure out if I want to be married to anyone right now. How much time? I don't know. Maybe another year. Maybe longer. He nodded. "And in the meantime?" "In the meantime, we keep doing what we're doing. Co-parenting. Being friends. Seeing how that goes." I can live with that. Can you? Really? Without pressure or manipulation or trying to rush me into a decision? Yes. What if I decide I don't want to try again? Then I'll accept that. And I'll be grateful for the time we've had and the kids we've raised together. I studied his face. He seemed to mean it. "Okay," I said. "We can keep seeing how things go." "Okay." We finished dinner and walked out to the parking lot together. "Naomi?" "Yeah?" "Whatever happens between us, I want you to know that loving you taught me how to be a better person, even if I didn't learn the lesson fast enough." Thank you for saying that. I mean it. I drove home to my small apartment, where my kids were staying with Angela for the evening. The place felt peaceful and familiar, like home. I sat on my balcony and thought about the future. Maybe Ethan and I would find our way back to each other. Maybe we wouldn't. But either way, I was going to be okay. Better than okay. I was going to be happy. August 15th was my birthday. 33 years old. The kids made me breakfast in bed, cereal and orange juice served on our nicest plates. They'd wrapped presents in newspaper comics and drawn birthday cards with crayon flowers. This is perfect, I told them, eating Lucky Charms at 9 a.m. Daddy wanted to know if he could bring you a present too, Lily said. What did you tell him? That you'd probably say yes because you're nice like that. She was right. I was nice like that. Ethan showed up that evening with a small gift bag and a nervous smile. Happy birthday, he said. Thank you. Inside the bag was a book, the travel memoir I'd been reading the weekend he took the kids camping. But this was a signed first edition. I remembered you mentioning it, he said. I thought you might like to have a special copy. It was thoughtful, personal, the kind of gift that showed he'd been listening. This is beautiful. Thank you. There's something else. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a confirmation for a weekend writing retreat I'd mentioned wanting to attend months ago. Ethan, this is expensive. I wanted to give you something that was just for you. Not for the kids, or the house, or anyone else. Just for you. I looked at the retreat information. 3 days in the mountains, writing workshops, time to think and create. Time to explore parts of myself I'd forgotten existed. This is perfect, I said. Really? Really. The kids ran between us, showing him the birthday cards they'd made, telling him about the breakfast they'd prepared. Normal family chaos, but with new boundaries and healthier dynamics. That night, after everyone went home, I called Angela. How was your birthday? She asked. Good, really good. And Ethan? Was thoughtful and respectful and didn't push for anything I wasn't ready to give. That's progress. Yeah, it is. Do you think you'll get back together? I looked around my apartment, my books on the shelves, my coffee cup on the table, my life arranged exactly how I wanted it. Maybe, I said, but only if it adds to this happiness instead of replacing it. That's the right answer. Yeah, I think it is. October brought cool weather and changing leaves. The kids were settled into 3rd grade and 1st grade, thriving in their new school. I'd been promoted to assistant principal, a job that challenged me in ways I'd never experienced before. Ethan and I had dinner together once a week now. Sometimes with the kids, sometimes just the two of us. We talked about everything. Work, parenting, books, dreams we'd forgotten we had. He was different, more present, more interested in what I thought about things, more willing to be wrong, to learn, to grow. I was different too. More confident, more willing to speak up, more clear about what I would and wouldn't accept. One evening, as we walked out of a restaurant together, he stopped suddenly. What? I asked. I just realized something. What's that? You're not trying to impress me anymore. I thought about that. No, I'm not. And I'm trying to impress you for the first time in years. Are you? Yes, and it feels right, like how it should have been all along. We stood on the sidewalk, people walking around us, the evening settling into darkness. Ethan? Yeah? I think I'm ready to try counseling. Together. His face lit up. Really? Really. Not because I'm ready to move back in or get remarried or anything like that, but because I think we could learn how to love each other better. I'd like that. Good. Can I hug you? I nodded. He pulled me into his arms, and for the first time in over a year, it felt natural. Not desperate or needy or trying to prove anything. Just right. Thank you, he whispered into my hair. For what? For not giving up on us completely. For believing people can change. People can change, I said. If they really want to. I really want to. I know you do. Christmas morning, the kids woke up in the apartment and opened presents around our small tree. Then we drove to the house, where Ethan had prepared breakfast and more presents waited. It felt natural now. 2 homes. 1 family. Different but still connected. Ruth came for lunch, bringing thoughtful gifts and genuine warmth. She played games with the kids and helped me in the kitchen without making a single comment about how I did things. This is nice, she said as we cleaned up together. It is nice. Different from what I expected, but nice. What did you expect? I expected broken, bitter, complicated in ugly ways. And instead? Instead, it's just evolved. Like you all figured out how to love each other in a new way. She was right. We had figured out how to love each other in a new way. With more respect, more honesty, more room for everyone to be themselves. That evening, after Ruth left and the kids were playing with their new toys, Ethan and I sat together on the couch. This was good, he said. It was. Different from last year. Last year we'd been pretending everything was fine while it fell apart underneath us. This year, everything actually was fine. Not perfect, but genuinely fine. Do you miss it? He asked. The way things used to be? I thought about the question. I miss some things. I miss feeling like part of a team. I miss sharing daily life with another adult. But I don't miss feeling like I wasn't enough. I don't miss trying to be someone I'm not. What if you could have the good parts without the bad parts? Is that possible? I think it might be, with enough work and enough honesty. I looked at him. Are you asking me to move back in? I'm asking if you think we could ever get there. Not now, but someday. Maybe. If we can figure out how to be partners instead of me trying to fit into your life. What would that look like? I don't know yet. We'd have to figure it out together. He nodded. I'd like to try to figure it out. Me too. New Year's Eve, I stayed home with the kids while Ethan went to a party with friends from work. At 11:30, just as I was getting ready for bed, he called. Happy almost New Year, he said. I could hear music and voices in the background. Happy almost New Year to you too. Having fun? It's okay. But I keep thinking about last year. What about it? Last year at this time, I was lying to you about where I was. I was with Madeline, pretending to be someone I wasn't. And this year I'm exactly where I want to be, talking to exactly who I want to be talking to. Even though I'm in pajamas with kids sleeping down the hall. Especially because of that. I smiled. That's progress. Yeah, it is. The countdown started in the background of his call. 10, 9, 8. Naomi? Yeah? I love you. The real you. Not the version of you I tried to create. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year, Ethan. Happy New Year. Spring came again. 1 year since I'd moved out. The kids were thriving. I was thriving. Ethan and I were doing the work in therapy, learning how to communicate, how to respect each other's differences, how to build something new from what we'd learned. One afternoon in May, I was sitting on my balcony reading when I heard familiar voices at the playground across the street. Ethan was there with the kids, pushing Noah on the swing while Lily climbed on the monkey bars. He looked relaxed, present, fully engaged with them. A woman approached him. Young, pretty, clearly interested. I watched her try to start a conversation, probably asking about the kids as an opening. Ethan smiled politely but kept his attention on Noah and Lily. After a few minutes, the woman gave up and walked away. He never once looked around to see if she was watching him, never tried to impress her or keep the conversation going. He was just there, being their dad, focused entirely on them. I realized I was smiling. My phone buzzed with a text from him. "Look across the street." I looked. He was waving at me from the playground. The kids saw me and waved too, calling my name across the space between us. "Come join us," he texted. I looked down at my book, then back at my family across the street. Then I put my book down, walked across the street, and joined them. Not because I had to, not because anyone expected me to, but because I wanted to, and that made all the difference. 6 months later, we celebrated Noah's 7th birthday at the apartment. Ethan brought the cake, I provided the decorations, and the kids invited friends from both their old neighborhood and their new one. It was chaotic and loud and wonderful. As the party wound down and the last guests left, the 4 of us cleaned up together, working as a team, laughing at Noah's sugar-induced silliness, comfortable in each other's company. "This was perfect," Lily announced, collapsing dramatically on the couch. "Perfect messy," Noah agreed. Ethan and I finished loading the dishwasher while the kids watched a movie. "They're right," he said quietly. "It was perfect. Even in a small apartment with secondhand furniture and paper plates. Especially because of all that. Because it was real." I looked around my small kitchen. Our small kitchen, for today at least. "I've been thinking," I said. "About what?" "About what you asked me last Christmas, about whether we could figure out how to be partners. And I think we're already figuring it out." He stopped loading plates and looked at me. "Are we?" "We're making decisions together about the kids. We're supporting each other's goals. We're honest about what we need and what we can't give. We are doing that. And I trust you now. Really trust you." "You do?" "I do." He leaned against the counter. "What does that mean for us?" I thought about the question, about the last 18 months, about the work we'd both done, about the people we'd become, separately and together. "It means I think I'm ready to talk about what comes next." "What do you want to come next?" "I want to try being married to each other again, but as the people we are now, not the people we were before." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure that I want to try. I'm sure that you've changed. I'm sure that I've changed. And I'm sure that what we have now is better than what we had before." He reached for my hands. "What would that look like? Practically?" "I don't know. Maybe I keep the apartment for a while, as my own space. Maybe we start with you staying here some nights. Maybe we figure it out as we go. You want to keep the apartment? For now. I need to know I can take care of myself. I need to know that choosing to be with you is a choice, not a necessity. I understand. Do you? Really? I think your independence is one of the things I love most about you now." I studied his face. He meant it. "Okay then," I said. "Okay then what?" "Okay then let's try." 2 years later, I still had the apartment. I stayed there 2 nights a week, reading, writing, being alone with my thoughts. The rest of the time, we were together at the house. It worked for us. The kids understood that Mommy needed space to be herself sometimes. Ethan understood that my independence wasn't a threat to our relationship. It was what made our relationship possible. We renewed our vows on a Saturday morning in November. Just us, the kids, Angela and Ruth. Simple ceremony in our backyard. Simple words that meant everything. "I promise to love you as you are, not as I think you should be," Ethan said. "I promise to choose you every day, not because I have to, but because I want to," I said. The kids were our witnesses, our reason, our hope for the future. That night, after everyone went home, I sat on our front porch and called my sister. "How does it feel?" she asked. To be married again? I looked at the house where my family was sleeping, where Ethan was probably reading in bed, where Lily was dreaming whatever 8-year-olds dream, where Noah was curled up with his stuffed elephant. It feels like coming home, I said, but to a home I chose, not one I settled for. That's the difference, isn't it, between the first marriage and this one? Yeah, the first time I was trying to become someone worthy of love. This time I know I already am. And Ethan? Ethan knows it too. This morning I woke up in my apartment. Tonight I'll sleep at the house. Tomorrow is Noah's soccer game and Lily's piano recital and a dozen other extraordinary things that make up our life. Some mornings Ethan still sees me happy without him. But now he also sees me happy with him. And he knows the difference is that I choose to be there. That makes him happy too. We're not perfect. We probably never will be. But we're real. And we're enough. More than enough. Some mornings, I look in the mirror and see a woman who knows her worth, who chose dignity over desperation, peace over drama, herself over settling. That woman is exactly who I was meant to be, and that's the quietest, most complete victory of all.